And it was a woman, it was a TikTok creator who was talking about my looks. And then there was a very famous personality that called me a big back, talking about my weight. And so it's things like...
Welcome back to Celebs Watch 211. A TikTok sensation, REESA TEESA, went viral after posting a 50-part series titled "Who the F Did I Marry" on TikTok. With REESA going viral came trolls, not forgetting the amount of impact her story has had to those who relate with her experience. Although REESA got trolled here and there, it is safe to say that she got a lot of positive support thanks to sharing her truth, and we are about to see many doors opening to her.
I had been in love before. It didn't work out, but I was at that age where I was like, okay,
let's go
time
back
is
to the
running
beginning.
out.
I'm listening to the first story, and I can see you in the car, and he's following you in a donut. You're like, jackpot! I got me one here, a good one. You go to the dinner.
To the Cheesecake Factory, which is my favorite, so that's why I did it. And again, the whole conversation flowed. Because again, one thing that I will say about my ex, who is being portrayed right now, is not who I met. He was charming. He was very career-minded. Again, he could dress very well. He carried himself as someone who was serious. We had a good sense of humor, so we were able to be at dinner laughing, joking, talking about family, talking about the things that we wanted in life. And so when he presented himself as saying, you know, I'm 42, I'm ready to settle down, I believed that.
What had your love life been like before that?
I had been in love before. It didn't work out, but I was at that age where I was like, okay, time is running out in terms of wanting a family. And that fueled a lot of it, because I really looked up one day and I was like, oh my God, I'm way past 30. I'm ready to get married. I felt like my biological clock was absolutely going off. You know,
you were ready for love, you were ready for a family, and here's somebody who, as you pointed out, seemed serious, seemed about his business. When you all went to dinner, he paid for the dinner, right?
Yes.
Okay. And I asked that because a lot of folks have wondered, this wasn't about financials, right? He didn't ask you for money.
No.
You never had to make any wire transfer. There was no uncle who suddenly got sick and you needed to loan him some money for. Nothing like that.
No. Because
he was paying all the bills.
Correct. Once he moved in, he was paying all the bills, and the story behind him paying the bills was, I'm your man, and I'm going to provide for you. So as my woman, your check is your check. I got you. That's exact. And when he said that, I said, oh, Jesus. Okay. Thank you.
The goal, as stated, was to share this with other people, these warning flags, but yet now you're taking insults, attacks. People are questioning your character. They're saying you're doing it for money. And I know that's hurting.
Yeah. It is not easy to see yourself being ripped apart online. And I'm human. This is not a world I'm used to. I am not a celebrity. I like to go to Walmart incognito. I like to go, you know, I still, like I said, I still go to work. So it's very difficult to see people who, number one, didn't even watch the series talk about me in such a very visceral and negative way.
What has stood out of those negative comments? Because I feel like most people are saying, like our Tant fam, good for you, you're so strong. What negative comments have hurt the most, I guess?
So the ones where they say, you know, she did this for clout. This is not the way to get clout, because you are literally opening up yourself, and again, you're being vulnerable. Those hurt. The ones that talk about the fact, and I know people have seen this, she does not look like what a VP would date. And it was a woman, it was a TikTok creator who was talking about my looks. And then there was a very famous personality that called me a big back, talking about my weight.
Last week, I reported on the viral TikTok series "Who the F Did I Marry" by REESA TEESA. And for those who may not be familiar, this is the woman who had an exclusive series on TikTok to share all the lies her ex-husband told her and how she believed them. Charlamagne shared his opinion on the story when I reported it.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I hear a lot of big back behavior. Does she have a big back?
She do give Sheila that was driving up the mountain.
Okay.
Yeah,
Sheila was beautiful though.
Yeah, no. You talked about the big back, not the
big back.
face.
Yeah, you're right,
She
you're
was
right.
cool.
What's your thing with big backs?
No, I'm just saying, because in a situation like this, some of you big backs, y'all got to stop being so thirsty for a man. There's a man out there for you. Okay, this woman believed all of this because she wanted to believe all of this. Big back belief isn't like everybody else's belief. Okay, she said it herself. He said everything I wanted to hear.
Yeah.
She wanted to believe whatever was coming out of his mouth because she wanted a man so bad.
Okay.
And so it's things like that that I'm like, Jesus, you know, I can already admit I'm self-conscious, you know, as a heavier woman. I feel like how I look should not dictate whether or not I deserve what I want. That was disappointing, and it was hurtful, especially the one that was the more famous personality. I will admit this: I appreciate when I've met both men and women who have said thank you, because for me it's like, okay, I know I'm getting attacked, but it did help somebody. When I hear someone that said, girl, I watched all 50 parts, I genuinely am humbled that someone took 500 minutes out of their life and watched the story that I went through. And my prayer is that, again, if there is a woman or man who's like, I want to be married, I want kids, I want this, and I need to have it right now, and you know something's wrong, but you're afraid to investigate because you're afraid that you might be wrong. And it's like, I'm here to say, look, it costs nothing to verify, but if you don't verify, honey, it may cost you everything.
I am debating asking you this.
Go ahead.
Where are you with dating? Because not now.
Okay.
I'm not talking about, you need to take a break for a second. Your heart is fragile, and you can lock it away out of fear. And after watching that series, if I wasn't married, I might not ever get married.
I believe in love. I believe in marriage. I believe it's a beautiful thing. But I am also in a place in my life where I can honestly tell you I am no longer afraid to say, God, if this person isn't for me, remove them. Yeah.
Now to an ABC News exclusive, an interview with the woman behind an incredibly viral TikTok video series. I know, Robin, you had a chance to sit down with her.
And boy, does she have a story to tell, Michael. Yeah. Teresa Johnson's story of falling in love, marrying, and then divorcing a man she says turned out to be a pathological liar has over 400 million views. We're not naming the man involved. We're using the nickname she gave him in the videos, Legion.
With just one question, she had the internet hooked.
Who did I marry?
In her 50-part TikTok series, Teresa Johnson, now widely known on social media as REESA TEESA, details her whirlwind pandemic romance that she says was filled with love, heartbreak, and alleged deception.
I'm going to tell the story of how I met, dated, married, and divorced a real pathological liar.
The viral saga has garnered more than 400 million views and counting.
Were you nervous at all about sharing?
Yes, I was nervous, but ultimately I decided if you're going to tell this story, tell the whole story. I also really truly believe the story will help somebody. It costs you nothing to verify, but it very well may cost you everything to not verify.
The narrative spread out over an 8-hour-long TikTok playlist.
Part 1, how'd y'all meet?
So we actually met on Facebook dating.
And we also matched on Hinge. I did not realize that he was on both under 2 different names.
There are a lot of things in this story that were red flags. This was probably one of them, but we thought it was hilarious that we matched on 2 different sites. This was a guy who I really, after having multiple conversations with, felt like, wow, where have you been?
Within 2 weeks, she says the couple decided to quarantine together in her Atlanta home.
It was more of a very temporary, he's coming to stay for the lockdown. The lockdown just never ended.
Teresa says Legion told her he had substantial savings from his time playing arena football and quickly took over paying her household bills.
Part of the reason that you stayed, was there anything to do with the fact that he said he had money, or you thought that he had? money.
I definitely was not with him for the money, but I will admit that there came a point he was paying all the bills and he was being, as he called, a provider. And I had never in my life experienced that before. I really felt like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Like I can just exhale. Yes, that felt good.
Teresa also says he made promises to buy her things, including a luxury car, a house, and a trip to London.
What were you thinking when he was making all of these promises and when they weren't happening?
We're touring houses. I physically saw him put an offer in on a house. It is unfathomable to see someone put an offer in and they have no money. So my mind was kind of saying, okay, something isn't right, but you know what you saw. The trip to London, he never actually booked it. Anyone that knows me will tell you that she's wanted to go to London since she was a little kid.
Oh.
So that was difficult because you're playing with me.
In the series, Teresa explains why she continuously chose to overlook what she calls the United Nations of red flags.
There's something that you said I really want to I want to get it here. A quote here. Number one, I don't want to be alone. Number two,
I didn't want to look stupid by having the relationship end so quickly for everyone to be like, we told you something was up. And number three, I was ready to get married.
I felt like time was running out. I ignored things because I really wanted it to be my turn.
You get pregnant and unfortunately you lose the baby.
That is where I say the relationship should have ended. Instead, the miscarriage almost pushed me to hold on to him even more.
Teresa claims after they got married, she started uncovering an elaborate web of lies.
I got married January 5th. By January 31st, I knew I was in trouble.
The question isn't what all did he lie about. The question definitely became, okay, what is actually true? What can you prove? Every I love you was a lie. Every I got you was a lie. That does something to you mentally.
What was the most painful part?
The part that still makes me, that I struggle with, is you pretended to be your own executive assistant when I was texting you to say I'm in pre-op. So there was never an executive assistant. You were never in a meeting. You just simply did not take me to the hospital when I lost our child.
Teresa says she discovered he had a criminal record. Documents revealing Legion pled guilty to charges of impersonating a police officer in 2017 and even had an open warrant for violating probation. After just 6 months of marriage, Teresa and Legion divorced.
It was as if a year worth of weight came off of me. I broke down, and I mean, I wailed.
I heard you say that you're not who you were before all this happened. Do you miss her?
I do. I do. She got excited. I don't really get excited anymore. I am terrified to get excited because I went through a whole year and some change of getting excited only for it to be stripped away. I do still believe in love. I do still believe in marriage. I do still want that. Being single is not always a great thing, but being married to the wrong person is a completely different type of hell.
Why do you think your story has resonated with so many people?
I do think being accountable, people appreciate that. I have nothing wrong with asking for grace if I'm going to be honest and say, this is where I messed up. I know I messed up. I'm gonna be honest, I really had to kind of repent. Like I had to really ask God to forgive me because I believe that God did everything to stop me. And my hard-headed self was still like, that's not a red flag, that's more pink. That was more pink, you know.
Teresa says even though recording the series was cathartic, therapy has been key.
It is still very much a journey of healing, self-reflection, and simply loving myself way more than to put myself through that or anything even like that ever again. Ever.
We reached out to Legion on several occasions. He declined to respond, but he took to social media, refuted the claims by Teresa, including denying that he had financial woes and saying the relationship ended because Teresa allegedly had an affair. He maintains that her story is only being posted now because he's in another relationship. Over 400 million views and counting. She has really struck a chord with women and men who have shared similar stories, and part of it is her accountability in all of this.
And honesty.
Honesty.
I wanted to be loved. I wanted to get married. I thought it was my time. So you can understand all those things.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is, she's taking herself to London. She is. She said she is taking herself to London later this year.
I thought you were going to pop out with a GMA giveaway. We going to take it. I'll behave.
Guess it's going to happen.
What do you mean you're going to behave? You're already misbehaving. Well, hey there, GMA fan. We thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the morning on GMA.
Here at Celebs Watch 211, we wish REESA TEESA all the best in her future endeavors.